Everybody. Hi, Lisa. Nice to see you. If you don't have your camera on already and you would like to switch your camera on, it's helpful. It helps to create more intimacy amongst us. Nice to see you all. I hope that you are having a good week. Anybody having any intense week? Is your week going intensely at all? This is, if you don't know, or if you haven't been here before, this is one of our sign languages here in Cyberland. It means I agree, I concur. It helps us to feel more connected as we go along. Hi, Trisha. Yes, so welcome everybody. Today we are going to talk about a big secret to our digestion. And one of those secrets has to do with gastric juices. It has to do with really increasing what we tend to lose as we get older, or through unhealthy eating habits and through stress. If you hear some drumming in the background, I am coming to you from our community center here in Italy called Asha. And I see our crew has started a labyrinth walk of a sharing circle, and I hear the drums have just started. So you might hear some celebration in the background, celebration noises. So that's what we're going to do today, and we are going to dive deeper into our intuition. So for those of you who haven't been here before, in the first part of our session, we talk about gut health, and it's specific to us ladies, to what we experience. Clearly, our health is much different than a man's health, what we experience, why our gut health would become compromised, and what we can do to build our gut health, which is going to build our vaginal secretions, which is going to improve our brain chemistry, is going to affect everything. This topic of gut health is the big secret to health in general. Anyone who has health issues has first gut health issues. Yes, the cauldron. We can look at our belly as the brewing pot. And if that pot isn't digesting well and eliminating well, we could be eating very healthfully, but if we're not getting rid of it properly, which in this context, it has many factors which we've covered in many of our webinars, but today that's specific to gastric juices, of why our belly might bloat out after we eat. Anybody experience bloating after you eat? Your belly just go right out? Gastric juices might be a bit compromised. Hi, Nicole.
Hi, Amy.
Hi, love. And for those of you just joining, if you'd like to switch your camera on, it's very helpful so we can feel one another. We ladies also might have compromised gut health because essentially we are intuitive, empathic, sensitive feeling creatures that have estrogen running through our bodies. Even if we are menopausal or beyond menopause, we still operate on estrogen in smaller amounts if we're healthy. And if we're not, that's when we begin to have more trouble. All of these topics, from hormones to gastric juices to food combining to the microbiome, all the things we've been talking about in these webinars so far are critical, important factors for you to, yes, reclaim your gut health. And what that means in essence, just bottom line, is your personal power as a woman. We are not men, we are women. And because of our ability to feel, to sense, to intuit, to love, to care, to nurture, for us to be able to do that healthfully, our gut health really needs to be intact, because we know how much we give to others. Anybody here, big giver? Yes, I know you all are. I know you are. Yes, that's what we do. Right? I had this really profound experience earlier in the week, and I got a very strong message out of it. And as an overgiver most of my life, in order to unconsciously get love, and had many gut problems and led to all kinds of female issues in my life, the central message I got this week that really helped me to understand a lot of things was this: the voice inside of me said, Amy, where your defense begins, your ability to receive ends. Yeah. Where your defense begins, your ability to receive ends. Does it make sense to you? Does it make sense? So in essence, what this voice in simple terms was saying to me within me was showing me how when I get into this overgiving thing and compromise my own gut health, my own self-love, looking for love out there, overdoing, overgiving, just hoping I'll get something back in return, all unconscious, of course, how much I stop receiving and therefore become defended on some level, guarded, armored. And this experience I had was so profound, and this realization that came out of it for the rest of the day, it hit me so hard that I don't know if you ever had this kind of experience where I was speechless and just really relaxed in my body, feeling very at peace, belly soft. It's a big softening. A big part of our work here together is in feminizing, so we can heal ourselves, so that we can drop that defense. Yes. Why are we defended? Why are we as women unconsciously armored? Because we come from a patriarchal conditioning where women have been plundered for ever. Every young girl knows instinctually to watch her own space for predators. We all know that. So our defense began quite young. But what I learned is where my defense begins, I stop receiving. I'm no longer nourishing. I'm no longer in a state of trust inside. So to put it into context, what do you think that does to our gut health? What do you think it does to our intestinal health? Like this squeezing, tension, stress inside. But for us to feel safe enough to breathe, to trust that if we drop our defense discerningly, with our wisdom intact, that we're going to be safe. Could this be a key core component to our gut health? Absolutely, ladies, absolutely. Because remember, where we're defended, we're no longer receiving, taking in. There's got to be some way that we're going to make sure we don't get hurt again. Living here in Italy, I'm learning Italian right now. And our Italian teacher told us in my group the other day that we're learning the word for left, sinistra. Sinistra. What does that sound like? Sinister. In Latin, the root word is sinister. And she told us that throughout history, the left is the feminine side. And so they assigned the word sinister or sinistra to women. And in old times, that's how they viewed women, was sinister. This is the conditioning that has been projected onto us as women, the dangerous witch. So of course, what we learn to do is to defend. And that defense puts tension in our bodies. It keeps all the bad things out and probably a lot of the good things. It makes us potentially hard. And could it even compromise our gastric juices? Yeah, so let's understand this just a little bit more. Let's understand this. But first, I would love to hear a little bit about you. If you could pop into the chat box, the question, if you saw the screen before you came on, there's a question in the chat box. And that question is, what do you most need to let go of in your life right now? What do you most need to let go of? Would you pop in the chat box? It could be a food that's compromising your gut health. It could be a person, a place, or a thing. What do you most need to let go of? What is it? Okay, thinness obsession, self-doubt, my desire to be perfect for everyone. Yes, Trisha. Negative people, bad energy. I need to let go of the old. I need to let go of the old comfortable patterns. Okay, Pallavi, thank you. And Lisa says, haha, actually the first thing that popped up was attachment in general. And Elaine says, I need to let go of fear, the past, and past eating patterns. Right. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. So let's take what we need, because surely in order to get down into solving some of our gut health issues, a really primary thing that's going to help us is to know what we need. Okay, so that's the next thing I want to ask you. Before we get too much into the science or we go too much into this, if you were to let go of what's really in your way, in your life right now, and you were to invite in a deep understanding of you and what you need, and you just tune into yourself for a moment and ask yourself, what do I really need? I let go of that. And what's that make space for? What it makes space for, if we dig a little bit, is what you really need. If you would pop it in the chat box, Fatima, hope, yeah. Being a helicopter mama. People pleasing. Okay, but what do you most need? Energy and completion, Sarah, thank you. Okay, security and to feel safe. Radical acceptance, yep, health, love and pleasure. These are the things that we need. So you know kind of what's been in the way. And we could say in this context, what if that has been in the way of your gut health? Otherwise, it would be a robot, but you're not, you're a woman. You sense, you feel, you intuit, you love with all of you. I know you do. That's a woman. It gets compromised though somewhere along the line, and we stop being kind to ourselves. We stop loving ourselves. We stop taking care, and we start acting out our masculine behavior to defend and protect ourselves. And our gut goes like this. And then we start producing all kinds of gas, belly bloats out. And if this goes on for too long, your health is going to go all the way down. Because we know where health begins. It begins in our gut. But even before that, it begins with how we think. So our work here together is not only science. If that would be one-dimensional in the way I work anyway. It's to understand our tenderness, to feel safe, to be kind to ourselves, to love ourselves. And through this kind of non-defended, boom, inner strength, then perhaps we have a different type of protection. And our gut can relax. We stop producing so much gas. And any resistance we have to make changes can soften. We can let go. And the kindness becomes much easier to ourselves, and we like ourselves better. What if the key to healing our gut is really about this deeper state of inner love? And our beautiful guts are helping us to come back into being whole women who really take care here, not just of everybody else. How's that feel to you? Does that resonate with you? Does it feel like a language that your soul needs? I do this because it's the language my soul needs, to be understood for soft strength. I run a pretty large group of people in 2 companies with a male-dominated team. And I was just meeting with them, a very intense meeting with only one other woman in a group of 8 of us. And at one point, I had to just say to them, you know, I need to switch headspaces because there's something very important at the top of the hour that's coming up for me. Coming here and being with you. So I'm going to ask everybody to close now and to go on, to go ahead and leave. In my old way, like, okay, that's enough. We're done, guys. Go. That's the old way. But as I learn to soften within myself and to take better care of myself, I can bring things into this male-dominated group. And I actually said to them, you know, please receive the feminine here. We have a different type of strength to bring you, you know? So let's break that strength down into our very gut, where we feel everything, we sense. Let's break it down into some science. And then after that, we're gonna pause and we're gonna go into a little meditation together. And then we will go into some readings where we're gonna, with your permission, do some intuitive readings. Yeah, let's take a big breath together. And just letting go of the exhale. Letting go of your whole day. Let's do 2 more like that. Big breath. And letting go. And big breath. And really giving yourself permission with the exhale just to let go all the way down into your belly. Okay, hi Caroline, welcome. Okay, so let's switch on that science part of our brain, and let's go into some topic about science. As a naturopath, I work both in science and I work deeply in spirit. I like to understand our anatomy, our gastric juices in this context, and to really understand what we can technically do to heal our gut. Because I know that we as women are you're just gonna work way better, feel better, be more emotionally informed and empathic, intuitive, sensitized, feminized, when our gut's working better. Yeah, when that bloatation goes down, when your energy comes back up and you're feeling good again. Yeah, we need to feel good, huh? In our wholeness, physically, emotionally, on all levels. So let's understand what gastric juices are. What are gastric juices? They are secretions secreted by the stomach lining that make digestion possible. Those 2 main ones are, I'm going to put this in the chat box for you, is what's called HCl, okay, which is hydrochloric acid. Okay, let's talk a little bit about hydrochloric acid, and then we're going to talk a little bit about pepsin. That's the 2 main ones. There are more, but the reason these gastric juices are so important is because without them, we don't break our food down well. And if your body isn't able, if your stomach specifically, if your stomach isn't able to break down your food properly, what's going to happen is that your digestion is not going to be working properly. And you're basically going to have large particles of food that get kicked into your bloodstream that decay. Over time, when enough of this accumulates, it could accumulate into masses in the body. It could turn into infection, because hydrochloric acid and pepsin also kill bacteria, viruses, and infection in our body. It first begins in your stomach. So if people understood this about the whole COVID situation, we would probably have a very different relationship with the whole virus topic. And let's not, there's so much wrapped up into that. That's not our study. But just understand that with health in general, if your gastric juices, your HCl, your hydrochloric acid, and I spelled chloric wrong, actually it doesn't have an E, it has an I, by the way. and pepsin are working correctly, your food is going to break down better. When your food breaks down into very tiny, tiny pieces, then it can mix with other gastric juices and turn into what's called chyme. And chyme is the slushy, it's slush, which makes it absorb better into your body. And this is where you feel good and you have nutrition pumping through your body. If you don't feel good after you eat, in this context, one of the main reasons probably why is because your gastric juices, specifically your hydrochloric acid and your pepsin, are low. Now, why do our gastric juices become compromised? They typically become compromised with age. Okay, and that's because someone didn't know how to properly take care of their digestion from an early age. The earlier we begin to take care of our gastric juices and keep them healthy and flowing properly, the better we will age. And for us as women, that means the more our skin will look healthy, the less drying we'll experience, the less our vagina will dry out as we get older. In our last webinar, we talked about the senile vagina as an actual technical term. Yeah, why does our vagina go senile when we get older? If your doctor is not properly informed, they might say, you know, that's just what happens as you get older. No. That's a result of not having proper gastric juices for a long time when we begin to dry out, because we've had too much bloating and gas in our belly for too long. So what to do? Let's understand it a little bit more. Okay, so we talked a little bit about hydrochloric acid, and now let's talk a little bit about pepsin. And I'll pop that in the chat box too, P-E-P-S-I-N. Okay, it's a very common one, and pepsin is responsible for breaking down protein. Now, if your body can't break down protein, then again, that's going to potentially send large particles of protein back into your blood that are undigested, lead to rot, and this is where that infection, degrading of health can really excel. So if you're having health issues in your life right now, anybody having health issues? Can you show me? Yeah. If your energy's down, if you're not feeling vibrant, and that can also affect your cognitive thinking, your mood, how you feel. If you have a natural sense of enthusiasm, of hope, of feeling good about yourself. If not, it's not because there's something necessarily wrong with you or you're hopeless in any way. No. It's your biochemistry is just imbalanced, coming all the way back to pepsin and hydrochloric acid. So one of the most important things we can do, ladies, to improve your health, to feel better, and to be able to be kinder to ourselves is not just psychological and emotional. It's because those gastric juices are flowing properly. It makes your food absorb better. Remember, as your nutrition goes up, you eliminate, you poo better. Then your brain chemistry begins to work better through your microbiome. And if you haven't been on our calls before, please look this up, okay? Microbiome. This is one of the most important things that you can know about. And your microbiome is, just in a nutshell, weighs 5 pounds, and it is populating in your mouth, your nose, your vagina, and your gut. When you don't have proper HCl and pepsin, your microbiome in your gut gets very compromised, which means your immunity goes all the way down. Your energy goes down. Your susceptibility to illness increases. Your brain chemistry can feel off. You can really readily contract parasites, candida. Now we should definitely have, maybe next week we'll talk about candida. And this is a result. Candida yeast overgrowth is a result of not having proper gastric juices. So you see, it affects everything. It's not complex. It could be complex, but let's make it simple and really easy to understand. One of the major things we need to do is just rebuild it. We need to rebuild it. So how can we rebuild it? And what are some of the things that rob it and kill it off? Okay, antibiotics. Antibiotics are going to be one of the things that most compromise our gastric juices. Eating a high acidic diet. And for those of you who were here for our pH and glycemic talks, were we here for that one? Were you all there for glycemic index? Yeah, and the pH balance. These are some more things that we need to know about. But these are the kind of things that we talk about in these in this group here. But essentially, what we want to do is go on a big rebuild, and we want to eat foods that are properly pH balanced and have a glycemic index that doesn't contribute to you building infection in your body. So what I want to encourage you to do is this: Google and download a resource on the internet for a pH chart and also a glycemic index. Those are going to be a couple of really good resources, or go back on YouTube and watch our previous webinars on that. Okay, Alexis, you say, do you walk us through this with the membership having a hard time figuring out where to start? Thank you. You know, it's funny you asked that. This is a little side note. We'll come right back to our topic. Alexis, yes, I've been thinking about wanting to walk you through it. So it's not for today, because we already have our time used up for today, but I want to do that. I want to show you our membership site, and I can really break it down for you and help you to know where to start. We'll do that next week. But with our membership site, it's basically an opportunity to dive into some of these resources and have individual lessons and loads of recipes, so that you can really like go, you know, step 1, 2, 3. I mean, just break it down. Break it down. I know this topic can be a bit overwhelming, and we can be like, oh God, good idea, Amy, but you know what to do. Let's make it simple. One of the first things we want to do is, if you drink coffee, okay, oh, I know that might be like, oh God, if you drink coffee, if you drink more than a few glasses of wine each week, or alcohol, if you take antibiotics, you drink Coca-Cola, meat, dairy, sugar, high amounts of wheat, we want to come off of these things, because it's hammering your gastric juices, just robs them. What we're talking about here, ladies, to really, you know, hold us and to be supportive here, is we're talking about making dietary and lifestyle changes that are really behavioral changes. And that's why it's so challenging at times, because we're looking at really needing to change how we're thinking, our conditioning, how we're going about things. That old white bread and Coca-Cola and all that stuff that we grew up on, it's just getting at our gastric juices and just burning them up. Okay, and then let's say you have a child, or you go through tremendous stress, you have a surgery, you have some intense health issues that come up, or you start going into menopause. This is when we start getting really hammered. This is why we need to kind of like put money in the bank, and that is to repair our gastric juices. But we're looking at something that just seems like, oh my God, would I have to change my whole life here? Yes and no. Yes and no. If it can become interesting to you and compelling, you have proper support, you feel guided in a good way, then it becomes easy. It becomes like, okay, step by step, I can do this, okay. So Melinda says, can I repeat some of those foods to avoid? Okay. Melinda, that is, again, our old favorite, coffee. Okay, coffee is like, on the pH scale, is down there at like 2.0. Okay, for perfect human health, look, you ladies, we cannot be ill if you are at like 7.4. You could be injected repeatedly with, say, HIV, and it's been documented. You can read reports about this, of doctors who have perfect human health injected themselves with the HIV virus repeatedly and did not get it. Why? Which obviously is way more intense than these kind of pandemic stuff. Why did they not get it? Because they have strong gastric juices and a microbiome immunity that's way up. Again, they're following certain principles in their life. It's just math. And one of those principles is eating pH balanced foods. And so, Melinda, when we get into like the coffee 2.0, super acidic, Coca-Cola 1.5, for every Coke we drink, we need like 8 ounces of Coke. You need to drink about 30 8-ounce glasses of water to wash it out, to rebalance your system. Corrosion, okay? Yeah, I know. So we're just going to break it down. Some of those foods we need to avoid are coffee, Coke, antibiotics when you can, meat, dairy, sugar, wheat. And we need to really develop a very personal relationship with our own gut. I can give you an overview, but then my prayer for you, my wish for you is you take that in and you really get on an adventure with yourself, so that it takes out the overwhelm or the confusion, and you come into something like this and you allow this group to hold your hand and to essentially love you. Why? Because I'm a woman who needs the same thing, and I choose only to work with women after 18 years of my career because I believe in the power of the feminine to heal this world in these times, like more than anything. But we need to reclaim our power. We need to reclaim who we are. And for us, technically, it's down in our gut. But we've been conditioned for certain foods, substances, ways of being that just seem like, oh God, what to do? Step by step. Okay, step by step. Alexa says, we're talking about, the things that compromise our gastric juices, and we talked about surgeries, having children. And Alexa says, yeah, that's me. I know I need to change my whole life. And she's had 2 C-sections. Yeah, hi Alexis, thanks for turning your camera on. Yeah, okay. This is the sacrifice of the mother. Okay, having 3 ectopic pregnancies myself from the time I was 18 until I was 28. Finally, I started to oh my God, you mean there's another way? I don't have to just repeat the habits of my mother, of my 3 older sisters, of the degradation of women forever. Oh no, there's another way. And it's going to start with our gut, ladies. It's going to start with learning how to really take care of ourselves and to just say, I'm willing. I need help. I love to receive help. As much as you love to help, I know every single one of you love to help. I know you do. Nature of the feminine. Unless she's super narcissistic. That's not what we're talking about here. The nature of the feminine is a giving one, is a loving one, is a helping one. Yet what we're learning to do is to, introvert, bring that back in here first, so we can give like we love to in a very whole way. So we're going to use our food as medicine path and the lessons we're learning in these webinars and what I've created on our govegan.community site and our membership site to rebuild ourselves in our gut, in our heart, in our soul, and to reclaim what the feminine is all about and this wealth of nurturing balance that we have to give if we give it here first. If we can learn to drop our defense, soften into it, come from soft strength, and lead in an entirely different way. You're all leaders. You're leading in your life in the way that you're doing it. And it's either going to be from this place or something more reverent towards ourselves. Let's take a couple of questions in the chat box. Go ahead and pop some things in the chat box. If something's on your mind, you want to ask a question, go ahead and pop it in the chat box. And let's take some questions now, and then we're going to segue with a little meditation and do some readings. So Elaine says, what are your thoughts on hot lemon water in the morning? I've heard mixed reviews. Well, Okay, you're gonna hear all kinds of contradictory things. Okay, I'm sure many things I've already said. And like, wait a minute, but this person says that, and this person says this. Remember, there's one person, has no agenda, doesn't lie, and only wants the entire best thing for you in a whole package. And Elaine, you know who that is. That's you and your beautiful body. Your body never lies. And I mean that both metaphorically and physically. Never lies. It only tells the truth. So is hot lemon water good for you in the morning? If your body says so, Elaine, I would encourage you to trust that and go with it. If it feels good when you drink it, and it feels good and nourishing and like, you feel satisfied by it and like, oh, that feels good. Trust it. Not what I say or what anybody else says. You know, and this is taking our power back, Elaine. This is Elaine saying like, I trust you, body. I trust myself. Okay. And for another lady here, you know, you might drink that lemon water, that warm lemon water in the morning and be like, oh, that does not feel so good in my body. Then that's your truth. The question for each of you is, what can I do in my dietary and my lifestyle habits, right down to my gastric juices, to listen and hear and trust your body? If that seems far away from you and you feel like, yeah, but my body gives me mixed messages. Well, that's because our biochemistry right now is a bit all over the place. And as your biochemistry gets more and more cleaned out and balanced, remember the body's number one goal is homeostasis, balance. It's always, your biochemistry is always attempting to level out. And that's where our mood levels out. Okay, I encourage you to really trust yourself. Okay, any other questions? Carolyn, hard sometimes for me to honor my body. Oh, I know. It's, you know, what I encourage you to do, Carolyn, for everyone, if you have a difficult time listening to your body, I want to give you a little tool, okay? Let's practice this little tool together. All right, I want to ask you to just close your eyes and drop your brain, your thinking, down in your belly. Just drop it on down. And listen here, have a good listen. Perhaps use the pads of your fingers and you can massage in your belly. Get the pads of your fingers connected to your thinking. Listen to your belly. Notice if you begin to judge it or reject it or anything like that. And just watch, listen. Now think about that food that you think you just can't live without. That one thing or that person, place, or thing, whatever it is, think about that now and put it down in your gut, down in your belly, and listen to your gut. When you think about that thing that you think you just can't live without, what's your gut say? Listen. Listen closely with curiosity and care and really, really interested in yourself and your gut. Listen. Now ask yourself, do I really want that thing, that person, place, or thing, that food, whatever it is? Do I really want it? What's your belly say? Listen to your belly, not your mind, your belly. Listen there. So see, it's about listening to your belly and dropping your brain down in your belly and listen to it. Many, many years ago, I was traveling with a famous musician who was on tour, and we did about 50 hours of flying from the States to Australia in 10 days. And she's just a food addict, hilarious person. We came in through customs and she had avocados and cucumbers, all the kinds of things stuck down her pants. Food addicts, you know. I don't know if you've ever been through customs in Australia, but they are no joke about things like this. And, you know, we were walking around Byron Bay and we came into a bakery, a pastry shop. And she's drooling, literally. We're looking in the window at everything. I have to have it. And that same sort of thing, Carolyn, where she just felt like she couldn't trust herself. Like, I don't care, I'm just going to eat it. I don't care about the consequences. Yeah, gastric juices, whatever. It's going to kill my gastric juices. I'm just going to eat it anyway. We all know that place, right? We'll do it anyway. And I said to her, love, put your brain down into your belly. Now ask your belly if it really wants that cake and those cupcakes and all that. Ask your belly. She got down in her belly. My belly doesn't want it. Right, see? That's because our minds attach on to a food or a thing that's actually killing our gastric juices often because we're lonely, we're depressed, we need some satisfaction, some reprieve from the pressure of life. So we go for that thing. That was all a mental process. It wasn't a body process. So what I encourage you all to do is get down into your belly, and when you're about to reach for that thing that you know is harmful for you, to go down and listen to your belly and do your best to honor it. I don't always manage to honor it, but I do my best to develop this relationship so that your body knows after a while that you're listening to it. And it becomes easier to follow what your belly says and your body says rather than the repetitious thinking in here that's just a mental process. It's not based on information of your body, which, by the way, is science and empathy in one. By listening to our body, we access a whole well of information that is triggering from your gut response into your brain, producing serotonin, dopamine, or the lack of it, the feel-good hormones or not. The feel-good hormones are going to work best when you have HCl and pepsin working properly in your gut. That's why your mood's going to be affected. Let's take a big breath together. Big breath. Big breath. It's all doable, loves. It really is. It's just a willingness to say, I choose to take care of myself. Okay, and we're going to fumble, we're going to bumble, we're going to fall, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to need to let go of all of our expectations and perfectionism and just do our best each day to honor this beautiful body and listen to it and make some different choices. Because you know who suffers. The only one that really suffers is you. And other people may suffer as a result. If I feel crappy, I'm probably not always the nicest to my husband, let's say. But the better I feel and the kinder I am because I'm listening and here making some other choices, I can really make something, I can do something about the suffering. Especially if you're willing to be supported. And clearly you are if you're here and you have come back again. I see a lot of familiar faces. We're up to about half our group being people who are coming back. So I just want to acknowledge everyone coming back. Thank you. And everyone, you're always welcome here. Know you have a place to come where we can talk very openly about our vagina, our gut health, who we are as women. Nothing's taboo here. So we can come back into this greater sense of empowerment of who we are, reclaim our lives, why we're alive, what we're doing here. Do you believe, I just want to ask you a question. Do you believe that you're alive in these times right now, the historical, unprecedented times that we live in? Do you believe that you are alive right now for a reason? How many of us believe that you're alive right now for a reason? Yeah, okay. It's not a mistake that we're all here together in these times. So to heal ourselves and to rise up and take our lives back is to say, I choose to do something about it. Not through picketing and rioting and, you know, all this stuff, but like right here, right into my own gut. Let's develop a little bit of a tool together. We're going to do a kind of figure 8 meditation. We're going to begin to drop more and more into the center of our chest. Some people call this the heart center. It's the thymus gland. The thymus gland is sitting here in the center of our chest, producing healthy T cells, which is a big part of our immunity. And if your immunity is compromised and your T cells aren't working properly, where do you think that comes from? Your gut. It's all back to your gut. Everything's back to the gut. Everything, whatever you go through, emotionally, physically, back to the gut. Yeah. So what we're learning here to do is to develop willingness, curiosity, get educated in a different way, and we're going to start really taking some action from a soft, emotionally intelligent place. So let's get our heart connected down into our gut. Okay, let's drop inside and use the power of our minds to connect, dropping your attention into the center of your chest. Take a big breath here. Really letting go. And begin to rotate a golden spiral, which is your life force energy in the center of your chest, rotating it counterclockwise, like you're opening a jar. Golden, warm, sparkling spiral generating in the center of your chest. Now take your life force energy and in a figure eight, drop it down into your gut. Warming, sparkling light into your gut. Link it back up in a figure eight into your heart. Coming back home in your heart hub, generating warmth. Igniting the healing current inside your heart. I am a healing force. I am a healing force. Drop that healing force of you in a figure eight down into your gut, healing your gut with your own healing force. Warming your entire gut area, softening it. Let it soften. Letting go of the tension in your belly. Let your belly just completely hang out and relax. Taking a big breath into your belly with all that light, healing your belly. Coming back up in a figure eight into your heart. Come back into your heart hub and generate light, the goodness of you. Counterclockwise, generating light. Charging in your hub of your heart, in your thymus gland. Let it nurture you, care for you, take care of you. In a figure eight, drop all that warmth and healing. Ground it down into your belly, ground it down, ground down. Now take a few moments on your own, working this figure eight spiral of gold and healing light in a figure eight from your heart down into your belly, softening it. Softening into your chest in a figure eight. Dropping down in your gut. Safe to let go, it's safe to soften. Feel this healing, warming current working from your heart to your gut in a figure eight. Softening your whole body. Reminding yourself that it's safe to let go, it's safe to take care of you. It's safe to heal. I am a healing force. I am a healing force. Connected gut to heart, heart to gut in a figure eight. And taking a big breath in, and with your exhale, grounding your energy all the way down into the earth. fully in your body, trusting yourself to listen to your gut, to your body. Ground down. Protection all around you. Grounding yourself down. Protection all around. Feel your heart and your gut connected now, and your ability to listen strengthening, growing. And this is all for you now. It's just all for you. Yeah. Feel your ability to listen to you and to trust you, growing, strengthening. With each breath you take is an act of love towards yourself and kindness, goodness, your birthright. Okay. We are going to begin to segue now into our readings. If you would like to have a reading today, if you pop it in the chat box, we usually have time for about 2 people. So we will go in and listen on a deep level. Okay, so it works kind of like this. If you haven't been with us before, is I will ask your permission to scan your system. And if you instinctively feel no, that's okay, we stop right there, because this works only with permission. We never look without permission. So with your permission, I'll begin to scan your system. And it can be sensitive, it can be quite vulnerable. And what I'm going to ask everybody to do is to hold space for the person being read, because it can be quite tender in a group, you know. It takes a lot of bravery, really. And I'm going to ask you to stay on till the end, because one person has a message for everyone. There's a message for you in every reading that we do. Okay? So, Martine, I hope I said your name right. Martine, where are you, Martine? Okay. Hi, Martine. Okay, I'm just going to adjust my screen here so I can see you better. Okay. Oh, somehow, Nicole, I clicked on you. I'm just going to go back here, find you again, Martine, and my screen's doing that. Okay. Martine, may I scan your system? Would that be okay? Yes? Okay. And I'm going to take you off mute so we can hear you. Yeah, if you can unmute. There we go. Yeah, hi. Okay, so I have your permission to scan your system?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Martine, have you, am I saying your name right, Martine? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. Martine, have you always been working really hard your whole life?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, because you have a lot of power and a lot of stamina, and your system feels like it's getting kind of tired of being a workhorse. Your body's kind of like, yeah, I could do that for a long time, but at this point, the word in English is disconcerting. You know, it could be a bit disconcerting for you, which means, you know, it could be like really throwing you off, because you're used to operating in a certain way that requires a lot of output and a lot of power out from you.
Yeah.
So it might be a bit confusing for you right now, because what it feels like is your body is not going to have that. And it also feels like, tell me if this is true, is that, are you experiencing kind of like, I would call this feminization. I would call it, my sense is that you're feminizing and you're sensitizing and you're having a different emotional response in your body that is a bit uncomfortable or unfamiliar for you. Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what it feels like. So thank you for being here. And
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge you, because it feels like it's kind of a big deal for you to do something a bit different like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, great for you. Wow, that's really inspiring. Does everybody feel inspired by Martine?
Thank you.
Yeah, really big acknowledgement. And so one of the lessons, and we're going to go a little bit deeper, Martine, with your permission, but one of the things that Martine is bringing in for all of us ladies is she's showing us the power of feminizing and sensitizing. And what it feels like is it's been a bit confusing for you, Martine. It might throw you off a little bit because it's like, what is all this feeling stuff? What is all this? You know, does that sound familiar?
More physically feeling, yeah. My body feels like it's a lot louder than it was before.
Okay. And this is the power of allowing yourself to feminize. So, don't be surprised if, sometimes you might just feel emotional.
Yeah.
And you feel like you want to cry, or, the danger for you, Martine, is if you cut that off. Encourage you to allow your emotions to be present, allow yourself to be tender, vulnerable, and to you've needed to know, you've needed to like really have your crap together, have yourself together.
Yeah.
Do any of you ladies relate to this? Like, you got to have it together, and like none of this feminizing, schminizing, none of that sort of stuff. No, we got work to do. Martine, it's not going to work for you anymore. And this is good news. I know it's a little bit scary, but I want to just acknowledge your spunk.
Thank you.
Yeah. It feels like you're actually getting curious and interested, and you find out that you're not a doormat if you feminize, and you're not weak and powerless if you feminize. And my sense is that you're coming into a whole other level of personal power because you're letting it happen.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah. And what I also sensitize is, Martine, you this is a really interesting feeling. Martine, you feel like you're just really ready to go for it, actually.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, I love it. Ooh. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
You really are. Well, good work, you. Big acknowledgement for what you're doing with yourself. What I would encourage you to do is reach out. You're welcome to do a private session. We can go deeper with it and understand what you're working with. Okay, and this is for all you ladies, okay? Understand that when we begin to feminize, and you're actually, Martine, and for many of us, we're hormonally changing.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's not about it can be about time of life, but it's not the only context. Recently, I was working with a woman, 31, who'd been taking birth control pills for 17 years. And she looks like a Barbie doll. But this girl is a full-on construction worker. She's out there with the, the saws on our land here. She's one of our volunteers. And the hammers, she does all the work that the men do. She's a small person because she grew up in massive masculine protection. Made her hormones not work so well. So when she stopped covering that all up with the pill and she got off the pill, she was crying and not understanding why she's actually feminizing. Some of the things that I use this analogy because it feels like some of the things you're going through, Martine. So to gain context for what happens when you become feeling softer, more tender, just remember, Martine, for everyone, and I know you've already got this, Martine, because your mind works pretty darn quickly, is it doesn't mean that you are going to be like a pushover or powerless. It actually means the opposite.
So it doesn't mean you're weak. It actually gives you strength.
Bam, hit it on the head. And that's our fear as women, is that we're going to be weak if we come into soft strength. Okay? It's an uncomfortable position sometimes. All right, in this meaningful men today, I needed to empathically sense and feel the room and drive into the head leader, which, by the way, happens to be my husband, and like, no, like, you got to feel the room. You got to feel everybody in this room right now. It's not what they're asking for. It's not what they want. But if I fight him, he's so incredibly powerful. He would never hammer me down or anything like that, but we'll fight later. If I fight back. See, so this is not what we want to do. Instead, I need to come into a very empathic place and ask him. I just said to him, do you feel the energy in the room right now? Do you feel what's happening? Oh. It's a different type of strength we have access to. And it's very disarming for everyone. So Martine, encourage you to allow yourself to explore it, to feel it. And ladies, for all of us, trust this place. It's easier on you. It's kinder. It makes us nicer people. Yeah. And Martine, this is very important for you at the stage of life you're at as well. So I encourage you to really trust it. Allow it to heal you. It's a healing force, this soft feminine force.
Thank you.
You're so
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, let's all send Martine some love. Thank you, Martine.
Thank you.
And your job, Martine, is just to receive right now. Yeah, you're so welcome. Let's take a big breath together. Okay, Fatima, where are you? Fatima, hi.
Hi.
There we go. Hi there. Fatima, can I scan your system a bit and listen into your body? Would that be okay?
Of course.
Yeah. Fatima, are you having some health issues?
Yeah, I am. Just very recently.
Is it, you having some autoimmune issues?
Yes, it's MS.
But yeah. Okay, just listening in a little bit deeper. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have you had your skeletal system checked? Have you been to an osteopath or a chiropractor and looked at your spine?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
You have some curvature in your spine?
I haven't been diagnosed with anything other than the MS yet. This was all prior to my being diagnosed.
Okay. What I see in the lower part of your spine is it looks like that your spine has a tendency to come out and that there's curvature there. And what I'm sensing is that is cutting off some of the circulation, the blood flow, the nutritional flow that you need in order for your nervous system to be informing your brain properly. And my concern for you is if you get misdiagnosed. Okay. So I would really encourage you to see a really good chiropractor, osteopath, and start working on your skeletal system. And preferably an osteopath. I would go to the chiropractor and perhaps get some good x-rays and just look at your skeletal structure. Okay, I see. So what it looks like is like your left hip is sitting up higher than your right one. And it feels like it's squeezing on the lower part of your spine. And this feels really old. Okay, this feels like, wow, back into childhood. Can I ask you a bit of a deep question? Would that be okay?
Of course.
Okay. Did you grow up with a really overbearing father?
I don't know. I wouldn't say he was overbearing.
Is he unkind? Is he unkind to your mother?
He isn't, but I have other figures in my life that are like that, who don't treat each other with respect. Yeah.
You know, what it feels like is that you're by nature an incredibly sensitive person. Tender, very, very tender. And my sense is that your tenderness didn't really have a place in a household. It's almost as if the feeling is like, I hear your little inner child like feeling like she didn't feel safe when you were growing up. Okay, not to say you weren't provided for. What I'm talking about is emotional safety. Okay, and so that feels like it's linked in to what's going on in your body right now. Because if you lost hope, okay, what it feels like is a little one inside kind of gave up and lost hope some time ago. Yeah, how does that land for you? Yeah.
Yeah, I can resonate with that.
Okay, she needs to know she's okay, and you're a little bit scholarly, are you?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what I say so. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Fatima, is that your scholarly self can inform you on certain levels, but what it, excuse me, what it feels like is with your type of empathic nature. Oh, 1 second. Getting like some whole throat things happening here. Just a second. It feels like your whole throat, your whole area here is like,
Yeah.
okay, and this is like a deep a holding in of emotions, energy, where your little one didn't feel like she could speak or she could be heard. Okay, now watch out here, Fatima, because your scholarly self can inform you on certain levels, but your real deep gift is your empathic nature, your intuitive empathic nature. And I just want to say thank you for being here, because that's what we do here, is we cultivate and we nourish this place. And my sense is you can regain hope by being properly supported and being seen for this tenderness that you are. And it doesn't feel like that you're beyond repair, okay, physically or emotionally. But that does need, what I do get is that there's a very deep need for you to have a different context of your own self-understanding and who you are, so that you can work on a deeper inner level that feels more true to who you are.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Be careful that your scholarly stuff doesn't blanket that out.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Thank you. So you know what Fatima's bringing in the group, and what she's reminding us of, is our own empathic nature, your own sensitivity, your own ability to sense, to feel, and her deep tenderness inside. You're actually, Fatima, feels like you're quite shy. So for you to come forward and, you know, do this in a group is a little bit like Martine. It's a big deal to say, hey, you're actually making actions, both of you are, to say, I choose to do something different. I choose to change my emotional patterning, because here we need to open up our throat. And Fatima is reminding us, ladies, how we tend to silence ourselves. Okay, my throat literally just locked off, almost to the point where I couldn't speak. So we want to breathe these places, focus on our science and things we're learning here, and work on the technical end. But let us reclaim this one who feels inside, who needs to be seen for her softness, and know that there are people in this world who operate on this level. Even if our family, our friends don't understand, don't get it, there are people in this world who do. Okay. So that's for everyone, and that's what Fatima brings in the group. And so it's a very strong between what Martine and Fatima, and very two different examples, are bringing in, courageously showing us how to reclaim our voice, our personal power that's rooted in soft, feminine tenderness being our ultimate strength. So, you know, earlier before Trisha said, you know, well, how do I break this down? You know, how do I do this? Okay, how do I do this? I want to encourage you to go to govegan.community and start working on your recipes. All the recipes that are properly food combined, that was our lesson last week. They are, for the most part, low glycemic. They are allergen free. Okay, so I encourage you to go look at those type of recipes and to use the meal planner, get organized with your food. The more you plan and prepare, Lisa knows, and Lisa's been studying with me and is now a coach herself of this type of work for a long time. And, you know, one of our main principles is planning and preparing. The more you plan your food and you prepare it, the easier it's going to get. So I encourage you on govegan.community to use the meal planner. Go look at the food as medicine food library and start learning about the different foods, their pH balance and their glycemic index. It's all on there. okay, and start gaining these resources. We're going to leave it on. We just built this site. We're going to leave it on for like $19.99 for another week, and then it's going to go into a membership, and it's going to change. Our whole scheme is going to change a bit. I'll keep you up to date on emails about that, but know that there's an opportunity for you to access it now for almost free. Okay, so thank you, ladies. Bless your journey. We do this every Thursday. Know this resource is here for you, and know that there's many opportunities for you to get involved, and we're going to keep going deeper and deeper and deeper, actually. So if you like this type of work, keep coming back, because we're just getting started. Thank you, ladies. Lots of love to you. Big hug. And if anybody wants to stay on and wants to pop in the chat box, if we're to go deeper, how would you like to go deeper? I want this to come from you rather than my ideas. So what would you like to do to go deeper? What do you need? It comes back to what you need. Will you pop that in the chat box for me? If I could create anything for you that helps you to go deeper in yourself, to take care of your gut health, to fully rise up, what would that be? What would that be? Elaine, yeah, nutrition and sexuality. Okay, love it. What do you need, ladies? Oh, this is also a question for you, to ask you to go a little bit deeper in yourself. What do you need? What piques your curiosity? What gets you excited? One of the ways to stimulate your gut health is by what makes you happy, is what gets you excited, what intrigues you, because this is how we're going to learn. If you're intrigued, you're curious, and you're excited, this topic of gut health is going to be a lot easier to get into. That's why I'm not interested in this dry technical talk all the time. But I need your help. I need your help in creating something that we can dig into a little bit deeper. What is that for you? What would pique your curiosity and compel you to want to take care of your gut? What would that be? Fasting? Okay, great. Elaine, yes, one of my favorite things to do. Dealing with depression and executive functioning, focusing, deficit, and distraction. Okay, Joyce. Okay, what about a time possibly each week for a quick group discussion? Oh, okay. Okay, to feel vibrant. Yes. Okay. All right, well, thank you, ladies. Thank you. I'll take all that in. I'm feeling you, and I'm wanting to go deeper with you. Yes, we can continuously grow, and this thing called gut health becomes more and more accessible and easy to understand. So, Pallavi, we can learn to nurture ourselves. Yeah. Thank you, dear ladies. Lots of love to you. Bless your day or your evening, wherever you are. And feel free to write me. Do reach out. You can just reach me on amyrochelle.com or amy@amyrochelle.com. Lots of love, everybody. Bye.